Welcome to the shortwave radio channel and a little bit of observations. When I think that when you look at radios and radios, comparing radios together also at the same time. Since yesterday, I've been really playing with both the Sangean and, of course, the Tecsun PL-990X that are both on the same antenna, same setup. And for those that are asking, because I get tons of people asking, saying, well, you really need to have the same setup, and they're on the same setup. I'm using a multi-coupler that shares the MLA30. They are exactly on the same antenna with the same setup. And, you know, what can I observe and what can I say about using one in the other? Um, in performance, I would say, and sensitivity with the antenna, both radios are pretty much the same. And it's hard to because I post videos comparing, showing you the different versions. So I've seen people saying, well, the Tecsun seems to have more noise. It doesn't really. It might look like that sometimes. Yesterday that video with a lot of fading on WRMI. It's kind of hard because the fading isn't always the same, and it's you could be in a position where there's more fading at one moment, and that radio suffered the more fading than the other, and so it could give you an impression that one might be better than the other. My personal observations in sensitivity and reception, in general, both are pretty much equal. Uh, the Tecsun PL-990X certainly does a great job, and the Sangean ATS-909X2 doesn't do better in any way. Some people are mentioning muffled sound. Well, it's not muffled. It's because there's bandwidth filters on the Tecsun, and it's not necessarily muffled, but it's because I've used some bandwidth sometimes to make the signal better and have less interference from adjacent signals, for example, and stuff like that. Overall, I like the sound of the Tecsun way more than the Sangean. Sangean is it's okay, but the Tecsun PL-990X personally for me is a much better choice for audio fidelity and quality. If you're getting a Sangean ATS-909X2, my videos are not here to diminish or to tell you, oh well, you're buying a crap radio. You're not buying a crap radio. That's obvious. You're buying a radio that will receive shortwave, will receive it well. Seems to be nice on the telescopic. It's just that you have to point out things that should not be like they are. And I think this channel is for that. When people say, well, you're wrong, my Sangean is the best thing I've ever bought, it's fine if you like it. I'm not saying it's a crappy radio, and I'm not there to, and I'm not at the same time, trying to say, well, haha, you got a Sangean, you wasted money. No, this isn't the way it works here. But with the knowledge and the personal observations, we have things that we see, and there are things that shouldn't be, and there are things that are good. I mean, there are stuff that are nice. I mean, if you go on FM with this radio, the RDS display is fantastic. I mean, I like the RDS display on this receiver. It works great. It has all the information, all the stuff you need. Of course, the Tecsun PL-990X does not have RDS. That's for sure. It has a nice complex, the display on this is better. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd love to have that display on this radio, which would be amazing. Tecsun has always kept its radios with the same style display all the time. They're kind of reusing, or it seems like they're reusing the same style of display that they're using for everything. And maybe it's time for Tecsun to understand that. Maybe it's time to have a bigger display and have more stuff. Maybe it's time to have a good radio with RDS functionality, and I would like that. We talk about how things can go better. I think the Tecsun PL-990X should have a better display than what it has now, which is the basic display that you'll get even on a, you know, a PL-680, basically. You know, we talk about how the receivers, you know, for example, that signal to noise ratio thing that I never use. You know, a lot of people are like, and by the way, in the videos when you guys compare those numbers with each radio, don't. It's useless to try to compare. It's useless to try to say, well, that one seems to receive better because the numbers in the display. These numbers are worth zero. They aren't representation, a fair and good representation of the signal, really. I rather have the clock, and that's often what I'll do there, is actually put the clock there. I'd rather have the time than a useless display of whatever signal level. At that point, this receiver is also useless in the bar graph here. And the reason it is useless is that it overestimates all the signals. I mean, you know, you have a signal here that's barely audible with noise, and it's always showing that it's 5 bar out of 5. That's not what it should be showing. It should be showing halfway or something. You know, I've noticed that in weak signals, it's just showing, oh yeah, this is great. This is the top signal. No, it's not. And that also is a useless bar graph. But that's one of the things that is pretty much every portable overreacts to signals. Pretty much all portables that have bar graph indications, they're all way too high compared to the real signal level. And that's kind of a common thing for radios, pretty much. So, you know, one thing for sure is that this radio should have bandwidths on single sideband. We get back to this all the time. And it's sad that they didn't have a calibration capability. I mean, it's so cool to be able to use the Tecsun PL-990X. And if you notice it's off a little bit, hey, you go do a quick tune of WWV. And you just, you know, calibrate it. And you're off, and you know that what you're listening to is exactly in the frequency that you're tuned to. There's no excuse for a radio of that price to not have these features. For sure, you know. But overall, it's still a great radio, and these are personal observations that I have. I like them both, but I do have still a preference for my Tecsun PL-990X. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.